Let's go to Howard in Alabama.
Yeah, I think Opie was 100% right. I do think Esther Koo knew what she was doing.
You do?
I've listened to it 3 times, and I listened to yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Well, she come in today, and she made the remark how she had such a great time over there.
And she kept kind of pushing it, too, didn't she?
Yeah, and I honestly think that Anthony probably sat there and told her, hey, when you go in, gouge her a little bit. And she's a good-looking gal. She gets away with the shit, you know. But I remember when Opie did have that talk on the radio about what had been done and all that, and I do remember Jimmy just sat there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're sitting there with somebody, like Opie said, Jimmy should have had his back.
Yeah,
because
and I mean,
he's still with Jimmy. Jimmy is still with Opie, and I think Jimmy actually said at one time that he's a coat rider. I think he was 100% honest.
Well, see, the thing, and Jim's right when he said that he has gone out and defended Opie so many times in media appearances, whether he's doing, Rogan's podcast, or any of the podcasts he's doing, any of the interviews he does. When stuff comes up about the show, he defends Opie. He defended Opie with the cake stomp thing. He does all that stuff. But you're right about that, and I think that is one of the things that Opie's sensitive to, because he takes so much shit from people, whether it's, former fans on the internet, or whether, let's be honest, Anthony has not been kind to Opie since leaving the show.
I think in all honesty, Opie does not get the dues that he deserves, because I tell you this, I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
And I listen to XM. My favorite station is Opie Radio.
Yeah.
Because of what he is programming and all that, he gives everybody a taste of everything.
Right. And he's not Opie, one of Opie's great, and he said it today. He said it on his show. He was never supposed to be the funniest guy in the room. Yeah. And that's actually a great strength, because most radio people are so egotistical that the minute that somebody is funnier than they are, they try to shut them down. And Opie's never done that. He's always made people shine.
And you look at the talent, to me, and I've had XM since the first come out. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that Opie is making this station one of the best stations Sirius XM has.
Well, there you go.
If they got rid of, the Opie channel, I'd probably get rid of my XM because I love it so much.
Good to know.
But I really believe that Jimmy should have had Opie's back. He should have sat there and said, yeah, and all that. But, that's something Jimmy's got to live with. But I don't think Opie gets the credit for what he does, because really and honestly, if you sit down and look at the channel, Opie's a goddamn genius.
It's hard to debate that. Because Opie, there's a lot of elements to Opie. And like I said, it's what he does on the air, and then it's what he does with his channel. And, look, at the end of the day, he put me on the air. That makes him a genius.
Ain't no doubt about it, though. You're the best there is to get away with it. You're just a man.
I was just thinking that.
But see, he saw that talent in you.
Right.
So what he do, he took a rock and he made a diamond out of it.
Right, he did. He took a piece of shit and he found a lump of coal and then he turned it into a diamond.
That's exactly right. And he's making the best channel that XM's got, and I hope it keeps going.
Let me go to Mike in Canada. What's up, Mike? Hey. Yeah.
So, first of all, I really enjoy you on the nighttime, because I get to drive home and listen to you. That's
excellent.
Good or bad, I don't know.
It's excellent.
That's what we like to hear. I listened to this Jimmy and Opie thing today, and it kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you, because I don't see it myself. I don't hear it myself, any problems that they're having, because Opie, without a doubt, is one of the best hosts on the radio. Mm-hmm. He absolutely is. He controls that show incredibly well, lets it flow. He talks to the guests like they're his buddies. And him and Jimmy, when they interviewed Tom Jones, it was spectacular. Mm-hmm. They bounced off each other. The questions were great. You would have never known that they're any kind of rift between them, but I guess that's the professional that they are.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they'll probably be able to just pull it together. You know, I think sometimes you have to have these knockdown dragouts, and then you just, pull it together and figure out what it is that you want to do.
Well, I think tomorrow's show is going to be very interesting if they address it.
I mean, it'd be tough not to, right?
Absolutely. It's the big elephant in the room, I bet.
Yeah, I would imagine. Thanks, Mike. Kevin in Jersey. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, what's up, Sammy?
How you doing?
All right. No, I just had a quick question. Going back to when Anthony got let go, do you guys feel like when the negotiations and everything were going on that Opie just held on to the show, thinking about, like, you guys, E-Rock, and everybody, pretty much everybody behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, that's definitely weighed on him, and he's told me about it throughout the years. That's definitely something, like, he knows that as the show gets bigger, he's also responsible for other people's incomes, and he's very aware of it, that he can't just make decisions kind of, at the drop of a hat and say, I don't want to do this anymore, because, these people are counting on it. I think a lot of us that work on the channel are talented enough that we'd be okay, but I do think that I don't think that Opie is strictly doing shows for the good of the staff. That's kind of a stretch. But I think that does play a part.
Yeah, the only reason I asked, like I said, repeatedly he's always come back to where he's always looking at it as, he wants to split the show, maybe I'll do my own show. And he's always going back to that point. He did the same thing with Anthony, and then he did the same thing with Jimmy this morning where he kept saying, I'd rather do my own show, and you guys could go off and do your own thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if it almost sounds like he just pretty much like he's done with the radio thing. It kind of comes off that way sometimes when he says that.
Yeah, I could see where you would get that. I don't think he is by a long shot. I think it's kind of in his blood. It's what he likes to do. I don't think, I'm sure he'd love to spend more time with his family, but I don't think he's even sort of ready to give up radio. I think he's ready to maybe make a change to what he's doing, and I think he's been ready to make that change, but I don't think he's ready to change industries. I think he just wants to change the gist of his show. And, I'm sure it could be for the better.
I gotcha. Yeah, because and as far as the Esther Koo thing goes, I don't think he had so much of an issue with her mentioning that she went on the air. The tone of his voice switched. If you listen to the playback, is when she says, when she brought up the part where she goes, it's easier for her to do his show. And
right.
Like,
and I get that. Like,
yeah.
I don't care if I don't even know him. If somebody comes on this show and goes, I like your show, but I really love doing, so-and-so's show. I'm like, get the fuck out of the studio then. Go do his show.
Yeah, I think that's the part where it pretty much, like, tipped him over. He was just like, what the hell do you mean? You come in here in the mornings and you do pretty good, but he was just saying, like, it's so much easier because it's in the evening.
Yeah.
I'm more of an evening person. So I think that he took a little bit more offense to that than anything else.
I get it. Jason in Tennessee, welcome to Sam Roberts Show.
What's up, Sam?
How you doing, pal?
First and foremost, Adrian's the fucking man.
I think depends. He is not, we're going to have a talk because he is very bad at screening phone calls. But
okay, I've been
he does
with
other things well.
I've been with the show since it was pay only on XM.
Right.
And the only thing that really bothers me, and I love Opie, Anthony, and Jim, I love them all, but the lack of respect and loyalty that Anthony and Jim both show towards Opie is what really irritates me, because who knows, if it hadn't been for Opie, there's a good chance Anthony would still be knocking 10. I mean, that's just honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel, I might be wrong here, but I don't feel Jim's career would be where it's at without the show.
Yeah, I think, I think both of them would agree to that. They definitely were given a lot of opportunity from Opie. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
Anthony, Jim, but like, I think that Jim has been more loyal than you might be giving him credit for. I think, Anthony has taken some pretty brutal shots since leaving the company, which is, that is where I think it's one thing if you're at work together and maybe you don't get along today or you don't, or whatever. The show to show, it's whatever. But once they separated and Anthony started really taking shots. And, I don't know what Opie was talking about today. He said something that Anthony was doing stuff behind the scenes. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I do know from the stuff we all know, from the stuff that Anthony's done on his show, there has been some unkind things that happen, certainly more on Ant's side than I think have happened on Opie's side. But like I said, you know, I really didn't live either perspective. I lived my own perspective, and I see that in a public setting, Anthony has been much more brutal to Opie than reverse.
I agree. The one thing about it, like the other car said, Opie's a damn genius. I don't think people look at how he plays the cards, and it's like you said, he always puts a funny man up front. I mean, he's always done that.
Yeah.
And I've seen you I was with him when you came in your first day, and to what you are now. I mean, I'm not, all bullshit aside, this is the best show on the platform, period. I mean,
man.
without a doubt.
Well, thanks.
I mean, I love Opie and Jimmy's show, but in my honest opinion, this is the best show on not only this channel, but on the whole platform. But y'all doing a good job, man. Keep it up.
Thank you, buddy. Good to hear. Dominic in Montauk.
Hey, Sammy, I just wanted to say, way back when all this shit happened with Opie, and he's talking about it, waiting for someone in the room to stick up for him, the fucking room was silent. And you're the only one that actually gave respect to Opie, and I just thought that was really ballsy of you, and I'm surprised that Jimmy or no one else said anything like that.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. I just know, look, I love Ant. Ant's never done anything to me. I don't know every detail that's in this thing between Opie and Anthony, and I don't know, everything that's been done between these two guys other than what they say. So, I don't have any ill will towards Ant. He's always treated me really well, and he said really nice things about me since he left. But I do think that Opie doesn't get the credit that he should a lot of times. So I was only doing that because I feel like the credit that Opie gets, he gets behind the scenes, he gets behind closed doors, he gets here and there, whereas everybody else gets their credit kind of in public, and that at some point you got to stand up and say, okay, all joking and everything aside, Opie's changed a lot of people's lives.
Exactly, and I'm just wanted to give you respect for doing that.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, Sammy.
All right, pal. Nash in Philly.
Hey, Sam. I just want to kind of say how Opie's getting a poor rap. If he was this bad, why didn't you say you, E-Rock, Travis, leave with Anthony? It seems like he's just getting beat down.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got to tell you, I think, thank you, Nash, you're right about that. I'm not really hiding anything from anybody. I'm pretty forward about how I'm feeling about things on the show. I'm not bullshitting about anything. And if I lost this show today, right, if the channel dissolved, if Opie came in tomorrow and said, I don't want to do radio anymore, the channel's over, and SiriusXM said, okay, well, we're going women-focused, so Sam, your show is the only one that survives. And I said, hey, this isn't supposed to be a women-focused show. And so they threw me out the door. I wouldn't have anything different to say about him than I'm saying today. I don't say things because there's a paycheck coming in. Because if I was doing things for a paycheck, I wouldn't be working in radio. I've been here for 10 years. I don't have a paycheck that reflects that. That's not why any of this happens. It happens because it's the truth.